Hey, everybody, welcome to the Think Tank podcast. We are so excited that you are here. We have our very good friends, Autumn and Samir. Why don't you take some time to introduce yourself?
Well, my name is Samir. I'm a computer science major, and that's my main focus. I'm excited today. Investment is something that I've always considered a lot. I haven't had too much time to learn and study, I would say, like a good amount of it, but I'm here to learn.
Awesome, awesome. Autumn, introduce yourself. Tell us something that if I had never met you before, what would you say? What do I need to know about Autumn?
Hi, I'm Autumn. I'm going to my third year at Ohlone Community College, and I'm an animal science major. I'm really excited about today's podcast. I know nothing about investing, so I'm very excited about today.
Alrighty, awesome. Thank you so much. I am really excited to launch the Think Tank podcast, where three minds are better than one. We wanted to have this podcast just to really spark conversation and to really, it's like a food for thought, and maybe we could cover things that you've never heard about. So we want to invite you to just subscribe and turn on notifications so that way you can stay up to date when we post our video. Now, we are in a series called Preparing to Live, and it's essentially our goal is to give practical and spiritual tools on how to be a successful Christian in adulthood and what that looks like. So we hope to be very practical today, and I'm really excited about our topic that we are going to be covering. Our topic is investing for my tomorrow, and I'm so excited to have my good friend and our special guest, Brother Ruben Orona. My bro, welcome to the Think Tank, my friend.
Yo, it's an honor. I'm super glad to be here in the think tank, y'all. What y'all are doing is amazing. And I'm super glad to be here as a guest and talking investments today.
Oh my God, dude, I'm so excited. So I don't know if you met, but this is Samir and Autumn. This is Brother Ruben. Ruben, just tell us about yourself, man. A little bit about you.
Yeah. So my name is Ruben Orona. Born and raised here in Oakland, California. 27 years old, recently married, praise God.
Hallelujah.
Parents are from Ciudad Juarez, Mexico. And yeah, I'm finishing up my master's. I actually finished it this last week, finished with finals week and everything. So I will be getting a master's in counseling, specializing in school counseling, K through 12, academic career counseling. So I'm excited. I got my degree at San Francisco State University. My undergrad was in Latina studies. So I'm really passionate about ethnic studies, about community organizing, and just overall in the ways that as a church we can impact this world and our community and our different circles that we interact with.
Yeah, man, that's awesome, bro. Dude, I have to ask, and I told the team I was going to ask you this, but like, how is the married life? Because you got the blurred background in the back, man. You just glowing, like I just see the glory of God.
Bro, is that glow? The honey glow. But man, living in the honeymoon stage, it's awesome. It's beautiful. It's an adjustment.
Yeah.
It's definitely an adjustment. You know, growing up, I'm the youngest of three. I grew up in a household where I had two older sisters. So they really like showed me that love, and you know, my mom really being close to me and being the youngest in the family, you kind of get a lot of privileges. You don't get the front end of the discipline, I will say. So now living on my own and having to make sure like food or like stuff is ready. It's an adjustment period. And I'm loving it. I'm loving the transformation and the changes that Diana, my wife and I are going through. It's beautiful.
Awesome. Man, thank you so much, bro, for joining again, for taking some time away from your wife, for your work, all that good stuff, man. We really appreciate it. So, well, let's get into the topic, man. I'm super excited about this. I really feel that this topic is not necessarily taught about like in churches or in a workshop. If you go to a youth conference or something, it's not really on the itinerary. But I really feel that this is important. And I feel like there's been like this recent new trend of just investing into stocks and all of that stuff. So I feel like having this conversation will educate a lot of people, especially young people. So let's get right into it, man. Um, so why don't we just start off with the financial program that you're in? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. About 6, 7 months ago, I got in contact with an academy, an educational platform of community investors, or a community of investors, I should say. So 7 months ago, I started with this academy. I saw somebody trading live. His name is he's a master trader. He's done really great in the foreign exchange market. I saw him first when I saw him for my first time. I saw him make over $10,000 in about 2 minutes, and I was like, "Wait, hold up! Like, what is that? What did you?" And I just DM'd him. I was like, "Yo, what is that? I need to get to know what that was. Like, teach me."
Let me get some of
Um,
that. Is that what
Let me
you're
get
saying?
some of that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's how it all started. He got me plugged in into his community, and yeah, I've been doing it ever since. I'm still a part of a community of investors, and every day, like, bro, we have a whole chat room. Over like in an hour, you will see it filled up with like hundreds of messages of crypto talks, investment talks, motivational videos, everything about investment. So yeah.
So just to
Yeah.
add more to that, I would say, so how much do you think he started with? How much money do you think he had to be making such margins like that?
Yeah. Well, to he has over about 4 to 5 years in learning how to invest. So he had been a part of other communities or networks, but he had recently started about 4 to 5 years ago, and he it all starts really slow, and then it builds up like a snowball. Also, the other metaphor is like a gym. Like you're not going to see results at the beginning, but if you're able to build on it, you'll be able to see that type of leverage, and you'll be able to risk that much to earn that much in those amount of minutes. um so I would say typically folks start off with about 250 in their broker account. Folks start off with around, you can start from 100 to 250. That's the minimum. And we have brokers that we're partnered with, and that we have their information on how much you can join for for the minimum amount. So yeah, you can start off with 250. That's what I started off with. I'm not sure what that um, trader, with that master trainer started with, but he's over 1 million now. His balance is way over the millions. So that's why he had that type of leverage. And you have to understand too, that's his percentage that he can make in that day. Doesn't mean that you start off with 250 and you're going to be able to make that in that same day.
For
So
sure.
folks get caught up in this thought of like, how did he make that? That must be a scam. Like, people make statements instead of being curious about the process that person had to go through to get to that level. Um, so yeah, I hope that answered your question.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I was kind of curious. So basically, let's say someone's just starting. Let's say I'm just starting there. 250, I have $250. Are you kind of like, let's say I'm a beginner, would you kind of like, I would say, carry my hand through it? Like, would you go through the motions? Like, how much are people helping you? To what extent are they helping you?
No,
Especially
that's a
when you're
great
first
question.
starting.
Hmm. So the thing we always advise our newcomers is to always start off with a demo account. You never want to start off with a live account where it's live money. Um, so we always get them started with the educational piece. We never want to get them started into starting a trade live with live money. So we always plug them into the education first, to talk about what is investment, how do you invest, and what platforms do you use to invest, and then we start them off on a demo account. So we have all the information to get folks started in a demo account, and we run through, there's different classes that we also hold throughout the week on how to chart, how to look at the volume of the price of whatever stock you're looking at, or crypto or currency that you're looking at. So some folks will say like you can make 200 in the first 48 hours. And that's usually a really great marketing tool. But we, on this side, in our group, we really advise folks to start off with a demo account and to practice there. And then once you get consistent in your demo account, to then move on into your live account.
So just to be clear too, like you can also invest into the stock market, like not in your program as well, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
talk to us about like what makes your program that you're a part of so special when it comes to investing, and why should the young folks consider joining the program or joining something like this where they could be effective when it comes to stocks? Because I feel like a lot of people just like, oh, I can make money, you know, things are blowing up, there's just like huge trend, so let me just get on that, but not having any education on it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I think those are really great questions. The first one, yes, folks, when you jump on our educational platform, you learn literally how to trade. No matter what market you're in, you learn how to trade, how to look at price action, how to look at trend lines, how to use the tools in your charts to be able to look at price and kind of form an analysis of what may come. So we always you always want to look left to get right. What that means is that we look at the prices of previous months, previous years, and there's a trend that you start finding in the market where you're able to analyze and predict what may come in the future. Now that can help you in any type of market, even in the stock market. And then your other question about, what was your second question about education?
Well, I was just saying, like, a lot of times people jump into something where they don't, especially young people in particular, they jump into investing into stocks without really understanding or having an educational background. You know what I'm saying? So
basically
um,
like GME and AMC, how everyone just, or Dogecoin, how everyone just threw their money in there. So
right.
I think to add to that, yeah, that's a good point, because I heard many people were just throwing their money in there, or like they got their stimulus check and they're like, oh, I'm an investor now, and throw their entire 1,400 in there. So how would you say someone that is, what would you tell someone that's doing that basically? Like what kind of steps or what should they do differently?
What I would tell a new trader like that jumps on a hype train is the market is not your friend. The market is there to make its money as well. Your broker account is there to make its money as well. So we are investors investing inside the market. It doesn't mean that the markets are there to make everyone rich. Um, they're there to get theirs as well. So you also have to understand that mindset. That's when we start talking about the investor's mindset in the academy. So that's what I would say. The market is not your friend. If you're jumping on a hype train, it's cool for the take it for the ride and get off as soon as you can. As soon as you get your profits, don't get too greedy. As soon as I know folks that got in and made 400, 500, and now they're back down to $50 in profits because they didn't get off the hype train. And they didn't wait for the right time to get in. Folks got in at 60 cents on Dogecoin. Now it's way back down to like 30 or 29 cents. So yeah, that's what I would say. The market is not your friend. That's why we got to get educated in this to be able to be successful and consistent. Yeah.
That's a good answer. That's a great answer. So we also seen how basically many of these investments, I mean, you're risking, it's like you're not guaranteed to make money. We see how the crypto market, we see how it crashed recently, right, a few days ago. For a beginner, how would you explain to them how to what extent the risk is, and how should they be careful to not, lose too much money?
Mhm. Um, what I would say is really look into what you're going to invest. Really make sure that you know the project of that crypto. So each crypto is not just another coin out there, is not just a magical thing that's happening up in the air. There are actual people that are ahead, or they are in charge of that project, right? For example, we can talk about Bitcoin. And I had a slide on that I can share with you all if you're
Go
open
for it,
to
man.
that and you're able to give me some sharing privileges. I had a slide up of that, um, where it shows where I basically collected information um, for this talk specifically for you all, and I've condensed some of those talking points.
Go for it. You
So
should be good now.
cool. And I'm just gonna jump to the slide to answer the question. I'm not gonna go through the whole presentation. So I'm gonna pull and extract the information as need be. So for example, if you're investing in crypto, right? I had these slides ready for crypto talks. Um, you gotta understand what type of coin you're investing in, whether it's a transactional coin like Bitcoin, or is it a functional coin like Ethereum. Then there's altcoins or alternative cryptos coins where Dogecoin lands in, where you have ADA, also known as Cardano. So Bitcoin is a transactional coin, and their main project, or their purpose, is to disrupt the legacy of the financial system, like banks, hedge funds, and private institutions. So folks are finding out that when you open a savings account and they tell you that they're going to give you, I don't know what type of percentage or interest, but they basically give you pennies in return for your investment and to keep your money inside a savings account. So that's not going to get anyone anywhere. If you're getting like 2 cents a year, or I don't know how many cents, depending on your savings account size. So folks that's why folks, and rich folks in particular, wealthy folks, they're not going to talk about their savings account. They're going to talk about where their investments are, and where their businesses are. So you start learning how important investing is to the wealthy. And you start kind of thinking like, why don't we get the same education from where the places where we come from, right? You got folks in Dubai who teach their kids and children, like in the education system, they start learning about investing from a young age. Um, that's a side point. But anyways, I would say really get to know what you're investing in. So Bitcoin wants to disrupt the legacy of the financial system, like banks. They want to decentralize the investing institutions. So now anyone can really invest in Bitcoin. You don't have to have it in a certain type of bank. Um, Entire countries are starting to invest into the crypto market because they're starting to see the potential in having your dollars backed up by something else. The US dollar is not backed by anything. It's only backed by belief in the dollar. It's backed by the printing process. So every time we have a new stimulus check, and this is the other side of like us, like we want the stimulus because we want to folks have to have money in their pockets. But what it does to the US economic system is that it brings the value of the dollar down, because they're just printing new money. So because that's happening, the cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, they are limited. So they say they're going to run out of of Bitcoin in a few years, and the price should be shooting up. This Bitcoin, you will also be able to buy things with Bitcoin. In our academy, we have the first person who ever bought a house with Bitcoin. He's regretting that now because the worth of Bitcoin then was way less than what is now. He could have probably bought like 10 houses with it now. So that's the potential of Bitcoin. Ethereum, what it wants to do, Ethereum is a functional coin, and its project or its purpose is to disrupt the tech. sector, like Apple, Google. Um, their function is to create other coins on its network. So over 85% of cryptos or altcoins were created on Ethereum's network. So and there's like there's a documentary on the guy that invented Ethereum, and he's really well known now by a lot of governments. And you'll see in that documentary how the financial folks of entire governments are seeking him out to learn about Ethereum and crypto. So yeah.
So in other
If you
words,
don't,
I'll go ahead, Autumn. Go ahead. Go ahead.
sorry. Would you because like with Bitcoin and Ethereum, would you invest that? Would you like go to a bank for that, or is that like just online by yourself?
That's a good question there. So there's what we call exchange apps or exchange platforms. For example, when you go to another country, you got to go to an exchange booth to
Right.
exchange your dollars for their currency. That's what happens on an app now. You don't have to go to Bitcoin's facilities to buy their coins. Now you can buy them on an app. And the apps that are recommended are Coinbase and Cash App for starters, for folks that are new to buying cryptos.
Okay.
And just a little bit more about that, and the reason why they are recommended is because when you buy Bitcoin or any other crypto, you want to make sure that you're able to transfer it to another wallet, to another exchange. So basically, a lot of folks are on Robinhood. Robinhood does not own any Bitcoin or any crypto at all. So all you're doing is you're investing on the value of that coin. You're not actually owning the coin. So I know there's a lot, and I want to really keep it simple for everyone. But basically, if you're on Robinhood, you should try to move out of it really quick if you're serious about investing in cryptos and owning crypto.
So just to add to that, so if you don't want them to be on Robinhood, what would you recommend then? Where should they be? Yeah.
So for starters, they should be on Coinbase. That's the main public exchange platform. It's called Coinbase. It has like a blue app. It's really noticeable. It's on your app store or Android. I don't know what they call them over there, but there's also Cash App. A lot of folks use Cash App. You can actually own Bitcoin on there. The thing with Cash App is that you're limited with the amount of cryptos and that's what changes with different exchanges. That some of them have the coins that you want to buy and some of them don't. And then if you really want to be ahead of the game and what folks who are intermediate and advanced, they're recommending crypto.com, and that's an app as well. They have their own exchange, and that's where there's a more diversity of cryptos on there.
So basically, since we're already talking about crypto, I might as well add more to it. So we know that the blockchain technology is quite essential to all of this. And my question is, what do you see cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, how do you see it in like the next 10 years? What do you think is in the future for cryptocurrencies?
I really think is the future. They're really that technology is super advanced, and I still have my learning curve when it comes to it and understanding it. I'm not as techie. I'm not 100% there on how it works technically. So I only know like the overview of it, but I do believe in crypto. I do think it's the future, and that the only trend is upwards, because we're starting to see a lot of the difference between now, and like about 3-5 years ago, is that governments were not buying into cryptos and they weren't seeing the potential in them. Now we're seeing entire governments really seeking out um, inventors of crypto, and we're starting to see that. That's why we're starting to see that strong push in the value of it going up.
So just to give like a devil's advocate point here.
Mhm.
So we see that other countries are trying to make their own crypto, right? We hear of like China with their crypto and all that. Do you think those cryptos that those countries are making, do you think they're trying to replace Bitcoin, trying to replace Ethereum, these larger cryptocurrencies? Do you think that's their goal?
I don't know if it's their goal, but if it is their goal, they're not going to be successful.
Hmm.
Bitcoin is the mothership of all cryptos, and Ethereum is that network that continues to create cryptos on its network. Um, so if anybody were to be investing, or the whales, as we like to say in the investing world, the folks with the most capital to invest in anything really, they're gonna opt more to for the safer route, which is Bitcoin and Ethereum, than to go with a whole new type of coin being invented from a country that doesn't believe in Bitcoin or the crypto market in general. So yeah, I don't know if they will be successful in doing that.
Hmm. Well, I'll throw you another question since I'm already going with
Please,
it.
please, yeah.
So we see how basically many different countries, we have fiat currency, right? And we've seen historically, I mean, they don't last, right? Historically. So is that why you think crypto is the future? Because if you continuously print money, you continuously rely on, basically, it's not backed by anything, right? It's not backed by, let's say, gold or anything as it used to be. Do you think that's why cryptocurrency will take the lead?
This one's a hard one. This is a tough question. I don't know if cryptos will take the lead. I um I want to say they will at some point, because everybody's doing everything on a phone now. Um, we folks were super scared when we started using our Visa cards, our debit cards and credit cards. They were like, no, that's the Antichrist. That's, it's, but now
Oh, bro,
everybody
and then
uses.
and also the chip, right? Too. When the chip came out, everybody was like, "No, the end
Right.
times is here."
So everybody was against Visa cards, credit cards, debit cards, because of you can't see the paper money anymore. So that digital currency now is revolutionizing how we think about money again. I do think that there is going to be a strong potential with crypto. There is a strong push, and I would like to see what happens when Bitcoin officially sells all the coins that they have. That's where it's going to get really interesting, because historically, when assets aren't able to be bought anymore, then the price of it goes up. It's like how when Yeezys come out and they sell out super fast, and then you have folks buying it for a whole, like, double the price of resale, right? I mean, of the initial price, and folks are reselling it. So that's what it looks like may happen when Bitcoin runs out of his buying power. So yep.
So I'll throw you another quick one before I let Stevie and Autumn go. So the US dollar, how do you see the US dollar's long-term future? Because we see excessive printing, I guess you could say. So what do you think the future is of the US dollar?
I don't know. If they keep going on the path that they're going, if the U.S. government continues to just continues to print it, I see it continuing to go down in value. Um, I'm hopeful that they may jump on a train or something that is backs up the US dollar. So hopefully there are government, I think the Swiss dollar, the Swiss franc is backed up by gold. There's other currencies around the world that are backed up by something. Um, so I hopefully the US jumps on that train somewhere. I don't know if if it may be, I don't know. The US is a capitalistic country, capitalism, and um, I think that they'll find a way. I don't see yeah, they should be jumping on a something that backs up the dollar, but yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. You said something, Ruben, earlier. You said the market is not your friend.
Mhm.
So, do you think that the stock market is going to crash?
Do I think the stock market is going to crash?
Yeah,
Was that the question?
yeah.
The stock market. um, I don't look. I don't think anything ever crashes.
Hmm,
I
interesting.
don't think the market crashes. I actually think things become on sale. So if you're really
Hey, that's a
Wait,
good
wait, wait,
point.
wait, wait, wait. We gotta make. Wait,
Well,
wait, wait,
we
wait. Okay,
gotta,
so
yeah, we
what?
gotta slow it down a little bit there.
Okay, wait. So, what do you call the 2008 market crashing? Well,
that
I know
was
that's
a
not as that. I mean, that was not necessarily stocks, but like it was pretty much
The
everything.
Great Recession.
Right.
So, and what about also March 2020 when the pandemic started too? So,
right. Let me show you something. Let me show you guys something. Let's and the stocks, all the stocks dropped, right? So this is a this is PayPal. This is let's go to Apple. Everybody knows Apple. Let me
Hey,
say,
that's my work. Let's go.
hey, let's go. Let me show you something. And why I say that. I'm gonna leave the all-time high there. So I'm erasing all these lines, and I'm making it. Uh, so this is a charting website. Most traders, investors look at this. You do not look at your broker, because when you look at your broker and you look at this a strong downtrend, you start seeing your profits going down. You start to panic and start selling off. You start to get into this panic mode when you look at it in your app. So most investors, if you're trading long term, you're not looking at your broker. You're looking at Trading View, and you're looking at the progress of your price um over time. So let's talk about it. When the pandemic started, was y'all remember March?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. There was a supposedly a stock market crash, right? The price on February 24. Let me see. Let's go to February. You guys see the date right at the bottom?
yeah.
It's down
Oh
here.
yeah, I see it. Yeah.
When I so, and then the right, it's the price of the stock. And they recently, I think, had like a split or something like that, a stock split. But anyways, this was the price of Apple, and for one Apple stock, you bought it for $75 a stock. Um, all right, on March 3rd. Then we had this market crash, right? What you guys are calling a crash on March 24th. It was at if you're going from $75 a stock to 54 and you got in up here, you were worried at that time. And a lot of people, what happens during a sell-off is you get into this selling spree, and it contributes to what people call a crash, because everybody starts panicking. um but like, if you're a really educated investor, you know that after every recession, um your the value has gone even higher. So after this stock, if you're holding, and if you actually believe in the project of what you're investing in, you should not be worried at all. So we saw March 23rd, the price was at 55 or $55 a stock. If you're holding and your entry is up here, if your entry is there and I'm holding let's say one stock at 75, and now all of a sudden my stock is worth $55, you actually haven't lost anything until you sell your stock. Does that make sense? You haven't lost any money until you actually sell your stock. So if you hold it, you're believing that it's going to come right back up. And guess what? May 7th, it came right back up of 2020 to your initial price. And ever since, it's just been taking off. So that's why I say that there is no such thing as a market crash. That you only get stuff on sale.
Well, I do think, because I mean, Apple is a good example. But also too, in last year in 2020, Apple became a $2 trillion company. So again, going back to what you're saying, if you believe in what you're investing in, like that's why it's important, like you were saying, to do the research on what you're investing in, because whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether the value is high of your stock or whether it's low, you have confidence that even if it does do a slight dip, it's going to boost back up. That's why you want to invest in Apple, you want to invest in Google, you want to invest in all of those companies, because they're not going anywhere.
They're not. You know they're gonna come out with the app iPhone 30, and you're still gonna be buying it. There's still gonna be people buying.
Right. Exactly.
Nah, I'm team Android, so no.
Oh yeah. So Samir, we're gonna have to kick you out of the. No, just kidding.
Yeah, bro.
No, I know. We're still praying. We're still praying for him, bro. We're still praying for Samir that he gets an engineering job at Apple so he can get an iPhone, because our group messages continue to be green, and it's just not. I'm just not.
One day, maybe. One day.
Did that kind of answer your question? Did that help? And why I said things only go on sale if you actually believe in your investment?
I think it was a great explanation. And I think it's true if we see historically, like stock market just keeps going higher and higher, right? Like if you look at 1970s and compare it to how it keeps going, right? And then 80s, 90s, and keeps going historically long term, right? But I think the question that some people may be wondering, how high can it go? Like when it can't keep going to like infinity, you know? Like when, how much higher can it go, basically? Like we already, like Stevie just mentioned, it's worth 2 trillion, right? So how much is it going to be one day worth 4 trillion? Are we assuming? Because if it doubles, right? So my question is, how high can these things go, basically?
Yo, like that's a good question. There's no way I can answer that. I don't know. Everything comes to an end at some point, right? Whether it's the coming of Christ or something else, but I think everything comes to an end. But that's why you look for projects. You look for things that are up and coming. That's where most you'll see the most profit. I don't actually trade in the stock market anymore, because to me it just moves really slow for my likes. That's why I moved to a different market called the foreign exchange market, where you're able to exchange currencies from your phone and from your laptop, and get to trading that way. So that's where I've done most of my trading and investing in. I was holding on to Zynga, and I sold it in profits. So Zynga is like a gaming company here in San Francisco, and I was just really looking into it, and I got in at a really good time and just got out recently and moved everything to cryptos and forex. So
So why don't you talk a little bit about foreign exchange and how that works, and what's the
most
benefits
definitely.
of it? Maybe the cons too.
Yeah. So the main thing when you're investing, number one thing that you always got to think about is that investing is always a 10% skill set and 90% mindset. You got to understand the skill set and get educated in it. And it's not super complicated. Like when I started learning about how to chart up, how to look at charts and look at the price of it and set up the indicators that are going to work for you, like I was like, wait, this is easier than I thought. What's harder is believing in your trade and actually knowing when to get in and when to get out. And the other part is risk management, managing your risk. Like if you're in a losing trade, makes you like let it go. You don't have to like continue losing, or get on a down pattern on losing more money, right, than you have to. So managing your money that way, and getting on a plan. So there's three types of markets that we just talked about. The stock market, it's open 8 hours, 5 days a week. It's open from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it does about $22 billion in daily volume, which means that within that time frame, there's $22 billion being moved within that market, from stock to stock or buying or selling. There's $22 billion in the foreign exchange market because it's a much bigger market and it involves countries, currencies, fiat currency. It's open 24 hours, 5 days a week, from 2 p.m. on Sunday to 2 p.m. on Friday, Pacific Standard Time. So this is PST. And the foreign exchange market daily, it does $5 trillion in exchanges or in daily volume per day. The cryptocurrency market is open 24/7. This is why this is a whole different beast we're working with. Like cryptos, you look at it on your Robinhood app, they're always moving 24/7. And it does over 200 billion right now in daily volume. I also put up some types of analysis that you got to look at. It's not just investing and jumping on a train. These are some websites that I put up that helped me get started, and this is good for starters and beginners. These are for educational purposes, for news, charting, and crypto talks. A good crypto website to look at, which is this one, CoinGecko, where you're able to see how coins are moving and the volumes. The other thing is Twitter, a person that's moving the markets right now with his influence is Elon Musk. So a lot of people are tapped into Elon Musk on his Twitter. They're making sure that their notifications are turned on every time he drops a tweet. It moves the market. He has that much influence right now. When celebrities or countries start saying that they're starting to invest, or huge banks like Citibank and Bank of America start talking about investing in cryptos, or that they have a position inside of a crypto, that boost comes from them influencing the price. So the price, you see it go up when news like that goes up, and that's called fundamental analysis. The
So
second
out of
type
those,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So out of those three different types of, I forgot what it was, but just like the investing for like people that are just starting, which one do you think is like the best for someone who's just starting?
For someone who's just starting and you're not, like, I would say Investopedia, because there's a lot of terms that you have to learn, and Investopedia is the place to go. That's why I put it up at the top, because there's language that you have to learn, and so you're able to be conscious about what you're investing in the world of investing. And it's language that's, it takes time to learn, but it's not out of this world. It's not brain science or brain surgery.
So just to add to that, so we've seen that, like as Autumn was saying, we have stocks, cryptos, and currencies. Which one would you say, as someone that doesn't know anything, which one should they start with? Like they have no clue about investment or anything.
Well, okay, that's a good one. To be able to start, first, of course, after you're educated, I would say put your money into, and I mean, this, take it with a grain of salt. This is only an idea, is not concrete. Everybody has to manage theirs on their own. But I would say look into the crypto market. Right now, everything is on sale. Um, I would say look at Ethereum. And when you look at the price at 2743, which is where it's at now, you don't have to buy the full Ethereum coin to start investing. You can invest in portions like $50, $100. You don't have to go in and buy the full coin. Same thing with Bitcoin. It recently had a downtrend happening here, and it looks like it's building a level of support at this area here of 30,000. So if you're able to buy into some Bitcoin, that's another coin that it's the mothership of all cryptos. So whenever Bitcoin goes down, you start seeing all the other coins start going down as well. Um, so that's Dogecoin there. I would say start there. And just to give you all some gems on what my crypto is right now is ADA Cardinal. So look into that. Their project is to become the internet of all cryptos. So their project is to attempt to be like the internet inside the crypto world. So where different cryptos are able to be exchanged in their network. So that's another one, and that's at 171, $1.71 right now. So I would say look into cryptos. That's where I would start, to be honest. If I was starting today and with the knowledge that I know now, I would start there.
That's good because I think many people like just want to sometimes just jump on the bandwagons as you were saying, and basically want to do the get rich quick, you know, and that usually doesn't work out. And I think as you were saying, it's important I think to start with the education, start with a foundation basically, where to start with, and basically, do you think long term, like what do you think? Because back then they used to say, oh, just put your money in the stock market long term in 30 years, you know, it should be worth a lot, right? What would you say now to young people that are like in high school, college, and they're thinking, let me invest long term. Let me see, I want to see my investment grow in, you know, to have large margins when I retire, you know. What
Mm-hmm.
would you say? Would you say, and what kind of market would you try to put that money into?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And to my swing traders, what you're talking about is trend trading or long-term trading, folks that want to go into the market for weeks, months, years. Um, I would say to look into there is something called stable coins. Where is it at? Where did I put it? Stable coins. Stable coins, you'll find them. You can get into them on Coinbase, I believe. There are stable coins. So these coins are literally what they mean. Are literally what the title of them are. Stable. They stay around the same price, and they basically work like dividends. So if you invest into a stable coin like USDT, DAI, or USDC, you're able to get, after a certain amount of time, you're able to get something like dividends, or you get an interest on your investment. And those interests, they basically pay you for holding your money with them, which is what blue chips stocks do. But their percentages here are much better than if you're holding your money inside of a savings account. So I would research stable coins, and if you're looking into something really passive and not aggressive, like another coin like ADA, I would recommend for long term as well. If you really want to be passive about it, you don't like the ups and downs of the market, you don't like the regressions and the uptrends and all of that, invest it into a stable coin and research what your coin is going to give you back.
Nice. So, I think one of the things that I want to be clear to people that are like going to be watching this later. Um, do you feel that, I mean, obviously now more than ever we're kind of moving to an all digital world, right? Um, do you feel that investing is the future? Do you strongly recommend for young people to get into it, to start exploring, to start educating themselves, or do you think that, and obviously you can, but do you think that they're missing out by not investing?
I do think that investing is the future. When I started 7 months ago, I kept telling people like get in front of the trend before the wave comes. And then the wave came of all these new investors, and I was like, yeah, this is the wave. Like I was talking about in our academy was talking about. I do think that investing is going to be the future, because in the bank systems, the governments are starting to see the potential in investing in crypto. Um, I do think that folks should be getting educated in it, educated in some form or shape, because there is a lot of um, great potential in it. Um, I would say always do it. Never risk more than what you're able to risk. So know what percentage of, like, I have a percentage I know I'm gonna risk for the week, and what percentage I'm not gonna risk or not go over based on my paycheck or based on my 9 to 5 job, right? So you always have to have something stable to propel you to be able to have the leverage to invest, right? I
Yeah.
would never have somebody or advise anybody to throw your whole savings account into investments, if especially if you're not educating in it.
Nice. And I know too, a lot of the companies, especially like the tech companies, they offer stocks available to their employees. Like Apple is one of those people that they give their employees stocks and stuff like that. So there's definitely ways to invest within the company too, you know?
Hmm. The other thing that what the reason why I got into it too is because I started looking at the financial literacy gap, and folks from that come from low and poor income communities of color, like you're not. There's a reason why we're not financially literate, and there's a
Mm,
reason why there's some information that it's held back from us, and that kind of limits us from being able to grow out of our conditions and out of our places that we've been like institutionalized to be inside of and conditioned to learn certain things only. So that's another huge reason why I think that everybody should be wanting to get more financially literate, and you should want to break out of any comfort zone that you might be in. So at the end of the day, you know, my ultimate goal is to be able to retire my parents, before
mm,
they turn the age that they have to retire at. My ultimate goal is to be able to say I bought my own home, or to buy my parents a home, or to be able to provide more, to be able to say I can afford to give the mortgage for my church this month. Everybody has their own why. You have to really make sure it comes from a pure place, in a place that that will be able to sustain you for the long run.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's so key, man. It's so key on having that mindset. And I think you said it in like one of your first slides. It's your mindset that is, it has to be in the right place. And I think it's important for people to start getting into, man. I really encourage people to start, playing with it. I mean, me personally, I've been still on the educational part, and something didn't seem right when Dogecoin and all of these, Robinhood were just blowing up, and everybody was just getting on. I have family members, oh, invest in this, invest in that. It's like, hey, I don't even. Why I have no. I mean, I have no idea what these companies are, what they represent. I mean, why am I gonna throw in money? Oh, just throw in $100. Like for what? Like, what is this all about? You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You're like, I work too hard for my money. I work too
Yeah.
hard.
No, exactly. Like, well, I'm not gonna just throw. I could use that $100 for into my savings account or into like, buy me a new pair of shoes or something. Why am I gonna put it into something I have no idea about? Because you just start seeing it on Instagram ads, on Facebook, and you just popping up, and family members like, hey, this and this. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah. All of a sudden, everybody was an expert.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I was
For
like,
real.
what? Yeah, man, it's crazy. And I think like this type of stuff really discourage, like you were saying, when you see all of the brokers accounts and you see all of the trade Excel sheet and all of that stuff, like and the currencies, it looks so complicated, it looks so confusing, it looks so high tech. And a lot of people, especially from our communities, they go away from this type of stuff because they're like, that's not for me. I don't know it, and they don't want to learn it as well. And I think the lack of education is
Mhm.
really is hurting us, not necessarily in a specific school, but just financially. Especially young people, we don't get taught this stuff, you know. Um, and I feel too like a lot of times people think, well, because you're a Christian, you don't have to be, you can't be rich, or you can't provide, you can't have money, you have to be broke, you have to be this. And I think that's the wrong mindset. Obviously the goal is not to be rich so you can just like believe the things of Christ, but I mean, you want to, like you said, you want to provide for your family, you want to provide, retire your parents, man. That's awesome. That'd be awesome to say, bro. And I can't wait for you to get there, for sure.
Mhm. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate it so much, man. Yeah, and definitely, I think that a lot of folks jumped on the hype train. A lot of folks thought they were experts at a certain point. Um, what was I gonna say? I had something in mind. But I was gonna say that the market loves new investors because they feed off of them the most.
Hmm.
Um, so you also got to think about it this way. If you were the market, who would you most love to be on your platform and to make money off of it? It's new investors with no education, dumping and throwing huge amounts of money into the market and then just getting bit or selling at a lower price. And so yeah, the market loved all these new uneducated investors, and my hope is that folks did profit, and props to you. And I hope that you didn't get caught in this downtrend. But yeah, appreciate you all for having me, and thank you for the support, Stevie.
Yeah, man, absolutely. We're gonna let you go, bro. We're gonna bring this to a close. I know, Bishop, you got things to do, you got people to talk to, and you got a wife to attend to. So we appreciate you, man, so much for everything that you talked about today. I hope that I hope you guys learned something, Autumn. I don't know if I
Oh
mean I was
yeah.
learning it. I was learning tons. Like Samir, I was learning so much. And I feel like the more we understand something, the better. And that's why this is the think tank, people. We're here to think hard and see around corners and talk future. I'm excited about the future. COVID is coming to an end. Thank the Lord. Maybe, and we're starting to get back to a sense of normalcy. And so I'm excited about it. And so once again, Ruben, thank you so much. For those of you that are more interested or interested in Ruben's program and want to connect with him, I'm going to put his social media in the description and his, all of his information there, so you can follow him and get in touch with him. So, Ruben, thank you so much. Samir, Autumn, thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right, y'all. This is the Think Tank. See y'all later.
Sheesh.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for taking the time to watch the Think Tank podcast. Listen, if you enjoyed what you heard today, I'm going to encourage you personally to subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on the notification bell so that way you stay up to date when we post a video. Also, if you have any recommendations on topics or guest speakers, we want to hear you in the comment section. Until next time on the Think Tank podcast. See ya.